Hey, this is another great video by Caeruleus Cichlids. This video we're looking at the Pseudeotropheus Saulosi and the Labidchromis Caeruleus. And the Labidchromis Caeruleus are bicolor. And bicolor, there's many Labidchromis Caeruleus. There's the yellow and there's the white versions. And so this is a mix between the white and yellow version, and which makes an amazing looking fish. It's a bicolor fish. There's some in this aquarium that'll be a little bit more yellow, and some a little bit more where the yellow's on the top. It actually divides when they mix like this. The top part is yellow and the bottom part's white, which is really cool when you think about genetics, how it plays out. It wasn't just a light yellow. It wasn't, a mixture of white and yellow. It was half of it was yellow and the bottom half was white. So we're looking at that, and we'll also be looking at some. I've changed the landscape, the aquascape of this aquarium, and now there's a dominance play going on. There's normally a dominance play going on in this aquarium all the time, but it's more so now that recently the lights are just turned on, and the scape has been changed for a couple of days now. I really like the scape. It's less boring. It's looking really good, and there's a lot more activity in the aquarium. And so I'm going to give you some information on both these fish. Hopefully, for most of this video, I'm going to give you some great footage because there's a lot of activity in this aquarium. A lot of Mbuna aquariums have just tons of activity, and this one does, and I want you to see some of the great footage. So stay tuned for the rest of this video. Okay, if you look here, you can see a pretty good aquascape here with the rocks. I'll show the rest of the aquarium ongoing in the video, but I'm not going to freehand it because you can't really follow the dominance play. It's playing out between two males, but they will be swimming in front of you, in front of the camera here. You'll be able to see them. The big male Saulosi you see there, it's doing the that's a territorial dance. You also see it as for matings. He's wanting to mate with those females. The females are the bright yellow fish there, the Mbunas. So he's also wanting to breed. He's also showing his dominance to another large male in this aquarium. Now the next larger male looks really good. I actually have 3 male Saulosi in here. The smaller male Saulosi, it would have been a cull if I had more of the Saulosi in the aquarium and throughout my fish room. Right now he's in here. If you look at the bicolor labs, if you see what I'm talking about, how the top of their body on some of the ones that have got the mixture of the yellow and the white, the top is yellow and the bottom is white, and it actually increases in color as they get older and more mature. And I think it would change just a little bit if the Saulosi were not in this aquarium. They've been in the same aquarium for about I'd say about 1.5 years now. They've done really well. There's not been any deaths due to aggression. No problems at all. The bicolor labs are breeding like crazy. There's probably about 4 or 5 females in here that's holding right now. If you look around, you might be able to see some. The Saulosi are a little bit different on breeding. They go through stages. Normally they're actually close. If they stick to how they have in the past, they breed about all the same time, and so they're holding about the same time. Then they build up their nourishment, and then they breed again after they've released the fry. So basically this is a great setup. A lot of coloration in this aquarium. In the future, I probably will have a dedicated aquarium to just the Saulosi, but for now I'm just going to have these still like they are because they get along great. It's a mixed Mbuna aquarium, the Pseudeotropheus Saulosi and the Labidchromis Caeruleus. Now you can look and see that some of the bicolor labs are actually not bicolor, they're completely white. Some of them are a little bit more yellow. I have some specimens that are just amazingly almost cut in half down horizontally, where the top is yellow and the bottom is white. And a lot of these that you see right now, if they were the dominant fish or they had more room or whatever, different scenarios, they would have just tremendous yellow and the white below. It's really an awesome fish. Now you can see there's some male Labidchromis. They look really great. The blacks and the white, I really like how they turn out. A lot of activity. All this has to do with changing of the escape. I basically gave them more area to the right of the aquarium to do some breeding and to have kind of like a family area. I only have a sponge filtration in here, and I do have also a small fluidized bed filter that works in this aquarium, but no canister filtration. Now I'm going to be in the future get in the habit of, when I do the water changes for this Mbuna tank, is to take out all the decor and do a great water change, and then I'm going to add the water to it. Sometimes during a water change you don't get all that debris. A lot of people, once they fill their aquarium back up, they let their filtration system pick up the extra debris. So what I've done here recently, after I'm going to get into it more in future videos, so what I've done here recently is, after a huge water change, and before I put the after I did the huge water change, I'm going to use a Magnum 350 and do kind of like a polishing, and it won't be something I'll leave on the aquarium all the time. It will be moved from different aquariums, which all my fish have been in my fish rooms for at least a year and a half. Some of them have been up to 9 to 10 years, so it's pretty good. Hopefully there won't be anything that will be spread during that process of moving the filter around. Now if you see on the decor here, I've used what's called a Pinplax Deco Cave on the bottom. I like to have those on the bottom because they're not real attractive, but they're the most effective caves to give the fish security. And if you have to swim through them, the caves won't collapse. You don't have to glue them or anything. So I put those on the bottom, and then I stack the other rocks on top. Those are lava rocks. They're not the best recommended rock to use for any type of cichlid because they can get scraped on it, but I haven't had really too many issues with that in any of my aquariums so far. So you might want to think about whether you use lava rocks, because if they do get chased around by other fish, they can damage their eye and cause a pop eye because of hitting their eye on the rock, or scrape their fins. But normally no problems, no issues, doing great. So the best way to have a lot more activity out of your Mbunas, and you see the changing activity, is this change escape. You don't have to change it every day or every week, but every once in a while the difference, it's like a different ecosystem by just changing escape. And there's a lot more activity, where before in my escape, which was on just the back of the aquarium, the Labidchromis, the white and bicolor labs, would stay in the back, and the Saulosi would stay in the front. If you see here, a lot of the female Saulosi are wanting food. Now you see here where the female Saulosi are. I have 6 of them in this aquarium. Right now they're a little bit hungry, which I'm going to feed them later on in the day. It's really good with your fish are hungry and come up to the top of the aquarium and wanting food. If your fish don't do that, you might want to just fast them a day or so. It's really good for them. The way I've been feeding my Mbuna cichlids recently, well, all my fish in all my fish rooms, which I have 3 rooms. It's not like a huge amount of aquariums in each room, but I do have 3 fish rooms. is I feed them once, one day, and then I skip the next day, and I feed them again. And what I've been feeding them is artificial crab meat. They just love it. The colorations really come out, and the biggest difference I've seen is the size difference. The amount of weight and size I've seen put on these Mbuna cichlids. The females in here, there's one or two that's close to full size. There's some other ones that are not full size. So I do want to get some size on these fish. You see the fluidized bed filter back there. So thanks again for watching. This has been Ricky Caeruleus Cichlids. Try out the Mbunas. They're really nice. Now each fish is different. I just want to tell you that each fish is different. Even though I'm having a dominance play and there's no really damage of any of the fish, each fish is different. Just like, you know, when you go to school, each kid's different. So each fish can be different. But Mbunas are pretty cool fish because they get along well, and you can have males with males, females all breeding in the same tank. And the one thing I want to make sure I mention in this, the Pseudeotropheus the Pseudeotrophus Saulosi do not breed here with the Labidchromis Caeruleus. Maybe in other aquariums they may, but in this aquarium I have never seen them breed where they're crossbreeding between the two species. So thanks again for watching, and check out some other videos by Ricky Caeruleus Cichlids.